The latest developments reveal that changes are being made. And Walmart's rolling out a new app. Walmart introduces a new app to attract busy shoppers. And this is Walmart's focus. This is their push. Driving consumers online, out of stores, reducing foot traffic, and increasing their online presence and preparing themselves for the metaverse, for this change in reset in the economy and consumer spending habits, as well as Walmart's part, the role that they play in molding the consumer, grooming them into the ideal shopper that wants, begs for, and immediately reaches for their phone, their tablet, their computer to shop online rather than in store. This is quite possibly going to be a growing trend with not just Walmart, but other retailers as they look to try to find ways to survive. Survival is key, but survival is difficult today. Moving forward, probably for the next several months, if not years, as our whole economy has been turned upside down as a result of the C-19 pandemic and all that came with that. Granted, it came with a lot of cheap money, low interest rates, some handouts to some businesses, some big checks cut, unemployment benefits for those to sit at home and make more money not working than working. But I will tell you guys this, we are definitely paying for it tenfold today. They are preparing to strike, folks. Stock up now. Major shortages and big problems likely to hit the jobs market, where these companies, these corporations, these businesses are looking to roll out the changes, the plans, the strategies that they have been preparing as they are looking to cut costs, cut overhead, drive up revenues, and most importantly, profits. Therefore, now may be the time to stock up. Somebody asked me, can you create a list of all the items that we should stock up on now while we can? And the reason why I think that was brought up was because there will come a point in time where the options and selections may be limited, especially based on your location, as far as the distribution centers and what items can and cannot be shipped to you, as well as the possibility of government oversight with central bank digital currencies, CBDC, ISO 20022, FedNow. We got to think, folks, if there's a realistic possibility and likelihood that our total lives will be controlled, then perhaps maybe now is the time to stock up while you can. Get what you need, get what you want before it's not possible. Not necessarily that it's not available, but not possible. There is a massive shift happening, not only in business, not only personally at home with household balance sheets, not only on a political level, but also on a global level, and quite possibly all stemming from the World Economic Forum. Rather than making the list, because that list could be quite lengthy and will vary depending on who you are, where you live, your certain circumstance or situation, I think it would probably be more prudent to discuss how to acquire this list, the items on this list, because they are preparing to strike, folks, and when they do, we are going to see more job loss. We're going to see more stores closing. We're going to see more employment levels dropping, unemployment levels rising if they'll allow those numbers to be released accurately. The shortages are going to come by way of a shortage of jobs, a shortage of opportunity, a shortage of income. Big problems. Shortages being experienced at home in a variety of ways because of the lack of the income available. We're already seeing a shortage of staff, nursing staff in the healthcare industry. More than likely, overworked, burned out, mistreated during the height of the pandemic, tossed aside afterwards, forced to inject substances into their bodies in order to maintain employment, only to be mistreated thereafter. And soon thereafter realize the coast is clear. And yeah, sorry, there may be a few side effects. Remember, folks, you got to be very careful. Listen to what they say, understand it, but then you don't have to accept it, okay? You have to then use that information to make your own best judgment on what to do moving forward. The banks are experiencing a liquidity crisis. And this liquidity crisis could potentially spill over into the housing market, which we can discuss that in a future video because I have several slides prepared for you guys, specifically about the Florida housing market, and rental prices, and how it is soon going to become very, very unaffordable, much like everything else. Why is that? Inflation, higher interest rates, maybe stagflation, a recession, companies, people, banks, corporations preparing for a hard landing, tons of contagion and systemic risk, preparing for the worst, hoping for the best, not really sure. But with this collapse, income and savings will be at great risk. Therefore, how do you even purchase and acquire and collect the items on said list that you would potentially want to have in the event of the big wipeout? There's a variety of ways of going about it, and plain and simple, folks, basics. Make more money. Spend less than you make. Budget. Eliminate debt, high interest debt, revolving debt. Save and invest. Questions, comments, concerns, 100% free links in the description down below for investing for beginners, as well as you're more than welcome to communicate with me directly. Join the network. Additionally, there are some side hustle opportunities that exist. A lot of people have been asking questions about the elimination, the collapse, the end, the crash of the dollar. What will happen to side hustles? What will happen to garage sales? What will happen to cash gigs, etc., etc.? In my opinion, they'll still exist. However, the upside to them will be eliminated as the central bank will have complete oversight and ability to track, trace, and tax every transaction imaginable, which is sad to say because you got to think about it. You work hard. You work to earn an income. That income you earn is taxed. It's called income tax, along with a variety of other deductions pulled out of your check, some of which going into a Social Security fund that is anticipated to be near depletion sooner than expected. Therefore, fixed income, Social Security, retirement, people of certain age groups are going to want to pay very, very close attention on what and how to prepare before that day comes. But you work very hard, you earn an income, that income is taxed, then you go out into the world, you make purchases, those purchases are taxed, sales tax, a variety of other miscellaneous taxes on top of that. Those businesses are taxed on the profits that they earn, the employees that work for them. There's a payroll tax that they have to pay for that. It's all fine and good, okay? We're used to it. However, moving forward, as we get into the central bank digital currency big brother oversight, where they have the ability to manipulate, set expiration dates, limitations, boundaries, restrictions, mandates on your money, on your savings, on your livelihood, your ability to survive. A cash transaction amongst friends, perhaps, of income that was already taxed for a purchase that was then taxed again, that maybe is then sold to a friend. Hey, you know what? Can you spot me on dinner? Gotcha. I'll pay you back. Well, when they pay you back, they'll be taxed too. And it's just going to be this almost infinite cycle of taxation that seemingly sounds extremely ridiculous, but to them sounds like a really good idea. Now, I would say that maybe this will never happen. Maybe, just maybe, there's enough equal and or greater opposite force working against us to prevent this. Speaking of which, Ron DeSantis just signed into law, I believe today, making Florida now a constitutional carry state. Ironic timing on that one. In the middle of the White House making a push for tighter, stricter control, down here in the great state of Florida, we see an equal and opposite push the other direction for allowing the ability for law-abiding citizens to protect themselves without having to jump through hoops in the middle of a world that is continuously getting more crazy and ridiculous each and every day. But if we look at the big picture, is he trying to tell us something? Is he trying to tell us, is he trying to warn us that it's about to get bad and we need to arm up? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, there are opportunities out there, side hustles. I've got one here I want to share with you. Sniff Spot as a side hustle. You can do your own dogs, if you own dogs, but if you live in an apartment building with no yard, Sniff Spot has your back. Sniff Spot is an online service that helps people find places for dogs to run around off leash, and it was founded by David Adams in 2016. Sniff Spot operates in 50 states and all around the world. It has more than 13,000 hosts in more than 3,000 cities. But the beauty of it is that you can sign up as a host by simply having private property, making sure your property is safe and secure, and not forgetting the guest's needs to be able to access your spot without passing through another private property, and then you're all done and good to go. Sniff Spot charges 25% commission, but that's a small price to pay for doing absolutely nothing but giving out your backyard for a short time. And I do think that we're going to see a lot more people looking for and taking advantage of opportunities. Thank you, Bupe, for sending that email. of ways of generating additional income, putting money away, stashing money away in savings, and preparing to weather this storm that is coming. I'm not talking about the snowstorm that's coming. I'm not talking about the tornadoes that are coming. I'm not talking about the hurricanes that are coming, although those are going to be added to the mix. Is this all part of their plan? Is CERN manipulating the weather? You know, are the chemtrails you see in the sky a part of this unseasonable weather that we're seeing all around the country? What do you guys expect to see this spring and summer? As in comparison to last year, it was almost like one thing after another. Food shortages, fertilizer shortages, diesel shortages, high gas prices. We had drought concerns in, was it Utah and Nevada? I think we're already still fighting that challenge in Southern California, Arizona. California was hit hard with some terrible winter storms, and we had massive flooding in Kentucky, I believe last year, or maybe Tennessee, or both. This year we're getting hit in Mississippi, East Palestine, Ohio, need I say more? More train derailments, more train derailments, more train derailments. It's funny, last year we covered the possibility of these freight train strikes, the potential strikes with BNSF, Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, CSX. But throughout all that, there was never any mention of train derailments. Now this year, we have almost a never-ending supply of train derailments. On top of more attacks on our food supply, and now more and greater attacks on our money supply, our financial supply. Unfortunately, the current situation doesn't allow or lend to banks being in a position to lend. Therefore, people are now starting to pull out cash. That's putting a strain and added stress on our banking system, this financial fractional reserve banking system. And it's really, I think it's really going to come to a head. There's not going to be much more of the robbing Peter to pay Paul. We're going to see some people actually just hit that wall. Unfortunately for some, the wall is, they're building the wall to hit. You see what I'm saying? By engaging in continuous wasteful spending, not saving, not trying to earn more, not multiplying their income, diversing their income, putting their eggs in one basket. Is the biggest concern the risk of the banks collapsing and taking all your money? Maybe, maybe not. Janet Yellen is kind of tiptoeing around the idea that all the big banks will be protected. They will have full FDIC coverage, if not, then some. The smaller banks, the regional banks, the local banks, the credit unions, we'll see. We'll see. Jamie Dimon having his private meetings with the elites and those in the U.S. Treasury, the Federal Reserve, planning, plotting, manipulating, preparing for what we will all have to soon face and deal with. Diversity, security, cash flow. If you have it, I think you're better off than not. I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not a fortune teller. And according to some of you guys, I'm a complete idiot because I don't know anything. But what I do know is that prices are going up. You'd have to be blind to have missed that prices are going up with seemingly no end in sight. Jobs are being lost. And I'm not saying all jobs, but jobs are being lost. You can type in job loss in a Google search, click on the news tab, and every single day you're going to see new headlines of announcements. It could be 10 jobs, it could be 100 jobs, it could be 400 jobs, it could be 20,000 jobs, it could be 100,000 jobs, depending on the day of the week, but they're continuously adding up. So prices are going up, jobs are being lost, interest rates are going up, banks aren't lending money like they used to, banks are actually losing deposits, which is really, really putting a strain and hurting our fractional reserve banking system. What's the solution? What's the answer? I don't know, total economic collapse, possibly, before rolling over to a central bank digital currency where they just say, you know what, these dollars mean nothing. We'll just use this new Fed coin, this Fed Now coin, central bank digital currency. The central bank will run it all, will control it all. Yeah, there's no actual paper money. It's all ones and zeros on a ledger. It's not backed by gold. It's not backed by silver. But we back it as a entity. It's not even as a government, it's an entity. But we hold all the cards. We make the rules. You play by our rules or you get none. But I will say that having a diverse portfolio with access to assets capable of producing cash flow, and cash flow is relative. Cash flow could literally be you and some friends, a network, a community, a group, a family, creating a bartering system and leveraging your assets against cash flow for other tasks, deeds, services, whatever it may be, and trying to work around the obstructions that are going to be placed in front of us. Something to think about. But I honestly, truly feel that they are preparing to strike. Stock up now while you can, before big problems, before major shortages. Stock up cash, stock up gold, stock up precious metals, stock up investments, stock up savings, stock up food, supplies, stock up relationships. That could quite possibly be your strongest ally, your greatest tool, your best chance at survival, perhaps maybe relationships, before it's too late. Because you guys have seen it. When shit hits the fan, SHTF, people are panicking. They're not thinking clearly. They're hysterical. They're frantic. You remember the stores, Publix, Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, wherever you go, Target. They won't even be around anymore when that day comes. But you guys remember. They're going to set limits on toilet paper online. Now you won't be able to go in there and hoard all the toilet paper. They'll set a limit on it. Like you can only order 2 at a time. And then the central bank digital currency, the central bank CBDC or FedNow or ISO 20022 will limit it as well. It's going to be interesting, folks. It's definitely going to be interesting. And it's going to be interesting to see how they present this and how they manipulate it and how they control using it. But I will say that I would much rather go into that situation diverse, secure, with the ability to produce cash flow than solely relying on a conversion of my cash, my savings, my checking, my credit cards, and or my job. But time will tell. We will see. You guys take care. Be safe. I'll see you real soon.